So we do waste a lot of time worrying about wasted time. And there's a really simple cure for this that perhaps a lot of people tend to overlook, and it's right in front of your face more often than not in life. The things that you need, the answers you need, whatever it is you're supposed to do is right here, but you just can't quite see it for some reason. So you always need that outside help sometimes, and that's one thing I've noticed in my life. Um, I've fallen into this trap where you think in the past, you're like, man, what about the good old days? 2013, playing Minecraft with the boys. Um, and you think of a lot of things and you get this nostalgic feeling of life was better back then. Well, I guarantee you it probably wasn't, but you look at it and you forget the crappy things and you focus only on the few good things that happened that you remember. In the book of Ecclesiastes, if I'm not mistaken, it says that I can't remember exactly what it says. It's written by Solomon. I'll paraphrase. Basically saying, if you look back on your life fondly and long for those times, you're not doing it with wisdom. That action does not proceed from a place of wisdom. It's proceeding from a place of foolishness, right? And I can remember the verse. I'll have to look it up sometime, I'm sure. But in life, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, we waste a lot of time worrying about wasted time. And the only way to get out of that cycle is to stop wasting time. I know that sounds probably retarded and how simple that is, but if you truly just put your time and your focus into yourself and then building a relationship with God instead of focusing on girls, focusing on not having girls, or being upset that you don't have one, being upset that whatever it is, if you just start doing self improvement, start stretching and lifting weights, if you just start meditating and journaling and not focusing on girls, not that you can't have a girlfriend, but you should be focusing on a relationship with God. And Alan Watts, remember, one time said, "Life is meant to be lived," or something along the lines like what is the meaning of life? And it's meant to be lived. God created life, and it doesn't matter if you don't believe in God. If you believe we're all intelligent monkeys and Homo sapiens emerged out of Africa 200,000 years ago, life is still meant to be lived. But there's meant to. I believe there's a purpose for it, and I believe that that's where God comes in. But even if you want to be an atheist, or if you are an atheist, whatever, or a Muslim, or whatever you want to be or choose to be, um, at some point in time, you're gonna have to start just living your life, and you're gonna have to let all these things kind of die and then go behind you. Um, Longing for past times, longing for the good times, wishing they were back, and instead of maybe you truly had good times at one point, and your life sucks now. But why aren't you making good times now? Used to be's don't make any honey. Uh, if you have I don't know how to put this. If you're in that cycle, man, you just gotta get going. And it's really hard to get going when you're kind of stuck. But once you get that momentum, I don't know how to say, it, man. It really changes your life. I remember I spent years of my life thinking about the good times when I was a teenager. Like, oh, when I was younger, no school, no worries, no tests, no whatever. It was easier back then, but it actually wasn't. I was, my parents before they got divorced, I was, hanging around a lot of abusive family members and a lot of people that made my life hell. And I didn't go outside very often. I didn't hang out with a lot of people. I kind of, how do I say, I was a shut in. I was a social recluse. That's what I was looking for. I didn't hang out with people. But I had a lot of fun playing video games. I played Morrowind on my dad's ancient original Xbox, and Mortal Kombat Deception, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and Little Big Planet 1, Little Big Planet 2, and then 3 for a little bit, but I was starting to get a little older by the time that one came out. But, I had all this fun in my imagination. There was times I did actually have fun playing these games, but a lot of times I kind of felt kind of like I got no one to share it with. I mean, I had my brother with me a lot, but I didn't have friends. I didn't go outside. I didn't get sunlight. I didn't do things normal kids do. I didn't. On the weekends, my dad was out working in the yard. I'd be out there with him. I might help with a project or gather sticks and would burn some stuff and cook some marshmallows. But I didn't have actual friends my age, aside from my brother. And a lot of times we fought, and a lot of the anger that poor treatment I received, I also kind of poured into our relationship with my brother. My relationship with my brother and I sometimes we would fight a lot, we would argue a lot, and you know despite the how it's the thing, good times they look like good times, despite how they may appear in your mind. More often than not, they weren't actually good times, and you're just romanticizing the short bursts of fun you had a long time ago. The good times start when you start doing good things, when you start making good progress, because you've been doing good things for a long enough time. You start to get those compounding effects, which, you know, a lot of your results are invisible in the beginning. You're meditating, and your muscles don't get bigger, but as 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, or even 3 minutes a day, 1 day, 30 seconds a day. If you just keep the habit alive, you're building that habit, and progressively overloading it. The gains are invisible at first, but initially your gain will be you have a good habit. Okay, and then you start getting good results from your good habits, and then your good results will compound with the other good habits that hopefully you're starting, and your mind will be sharper, your mind will be less cluttered and full of garbage, and your mind will be clear. You should be able to have a conversation with someone and not be thinking about something else, unless you're thinking about the conversation or you're trying to figure something out together. But you should be able to go into the zone in a social flow state and just be and enjoy human interaction, human experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that's true no matter what religion you believe in, or you know, perhaps if you're an atheist, spiritual. There's another word for that, perhaps that could describe some basically the same thing. We're just intelligent monkeys having a I don't know high level experience. I don't know what the heck emotional experience. I'm not sure. Maybe it is all just chemicals going off in your brain and synapses and neurons and whatnot. It could truly be that. I'm not saying I have everything figured out. I'm very confident in my choices that the God of the Bible is the real God, but I can't say I have it definitively 110% figured out in anything. Um, there's only the only wisdom. I am wise because I know that I know nothing. I think Socrates said that. Um, in life, you're not always gonna have the answer, and it's not always gonna make sense. And sometimes you're gonna want to look back at the good times and just wish you were there. You're gonna just wish you weren't in your current situation. And I've been there before. And I guess my advice to that is, and it's not easy, is just have to keep moving and then get out of the rut. More often than not, if you have symptoms of depression, it's typically, unless very few people I truly believe are clinical, they got this mental thing that they can't shake. I think a lot of people, their depression is a symptom of their lifestyle. And your lifestyle may truly suck. And that's why the way you feel about your lifestyle sucks. It's not because you suck, it's because of what you're doing. And you're overloading your brain with unnecessary stimulus. You're on Facebook all the time, or YouTube, or TikTok, whatever it is. And you maybe even justify it by saying, like, well, I read articles. Your brain is still processing that information when you scroll and the page is moving and there's new letters or numbers or whatever it is, or a graph, or whatever it is you're looking at. Yeah, TikTok is worse. Yeah, flashing colors and lights, that is worse. But exposure to those unnatural wavelengths of light, LED, um, and again, those articles, videos, whatever it is you're looking at, the new information, the way the page moves, the way it's something about that fucks with your brain. Because your brain processes all the pictures moved real fast together, the refresh rate as movement. Something about that just fucks with your brain and your attention span. So read a book. If you listen to an audiobook, that's alright. But it'd be even better if you did reading. A lot of people don't even know how to read because they get through partway through the paragraph and then they have to restart because their mind was thinking about the anime waifu or something, and they have to start over again. Um, that happens a lot. I used to actually be that guy, not the anime waifu part, but I couldn't read a book without having to restart over, and I'd spend a few minutes on one page sometime, like 5 or 6 minutes trying to read a page, and the first half of the page is taken up by chapter one, and it's just like a paragraph like this big, and I'm just struggling to read it. That's not healthy or normal. I mean, if you're anything like me, you start out at level zero, so it's healthy and normal to struggle when you're level zero. But as functioning adults or semi-functioning adults, we're supposed to be able to know how to read by the time we're 20. So, yeah, you know, make sure you honor your ancestors, man. Your whole life, let's start with your body. Your body is built with living DNA from Every human being in your bloodline, whether you believe it was 200,000 years ago in Africa, a Homo sapiens started walking out, or you believe that the Earth is 6 to 10,000 years old, within that range, roughly, depending on your math, and um, God created Adam and Eve, and then we came out of the Garden of Eden. If that's what you believe, it doesn't matter what you believe. Our bloodlines um, are comprised of every living human being. Um, Someone said it back. Okay, sorry. Your bloodline is comprised of every human being. I guess within your family tree, your bloodline, whatever is what your body's made out. Okay, let me start over again. Dang it. Made it too far in the video to restart. I don't do everything very good all the time. Getting better at talking in front of the camera. It's a skill you gotta build. But your body is built from every living human being, every once living human being, or currently living human being in your family tree, your bloodline. Your body has living DNA from the first humans. It doesn't matter what you believe in. That is a fact. Adam and Eve or Homo sapiens. And I think the first female whatever ape thing was called Susan or something, I don't remember, but living DNA from something. Because that living creature had a child, and that DNA, physical living copies of its DNA was passed on, and it was passed on, passed on, passed on. And there's mutations, genetic markers, and your ancestors are unique, and not everyone has the same ancestors, but they all head back to the same spot. So on some level, we do all have a common ancestry. And whether we're created by God or by accident or universe, aliens, whatever the heck you believe in, spaghetti monster, it doesn't matter. We all end up going back to the same spot, but we're all living copies of humans that once lived. Our bodies are, at least. I mean, we all have unique experiences and whatnot. But honor those people, people that, maybe you had a relative that was in medieval England or something, and his pregnant wife was home, and she was waiting for her husband to return in battle. Maybe he did return, maybe he didn't return, but there are men in your lineage that have fought and died so that the next generation could go on, and the country could continue. Whatever it is, as simple as something as maybe fighting off a burglar, and maybe winning, maybe not winning, and trying to protect the next generation, trying to protect you, trying to preserve the bloodline so that the children could have children, and eventually someday you could have children, or you could at least breathe and experience. And I think it's disgraceful to live your life on your laptop and live your life wasting your time or worrying about wasted time. And I know that's easier said than done, because I've been here before and worried a lot about wasted time. But the only way to stop worrying about it is to start making use of it, the time that you're given. And you can never get that time back. It'll never be August 1st, 2018 again. Yeah, it'll be August 1st, 2019, but you'll never have one of those again either. You're not promised that you'll see the next August, next winter, next summer, next sunrise, next sunset, next second. It doesn't matter. None of it is promised. Not even your health, not even your wife, not even your wife's health, your kids' health. The fact that you have running water tomorrow, none of it is promised. And we're meant to live and we're meant to enjoy life. And it doesn't mean that we're meant to be these pixies, hippies that float through life and just live for pleasure. That's not true either. We're called to also sacrifice and die and do everything the men in our previous, and women, did in our previous generations to keep us alive and to secure our future. We're called to do the same for the next. Because too many people have sacrificed their lives to get us to where we are. It'd be disgraceful not to let that continue. Not to fight for something. And I do believe that we're meant to serve God, and a lot of things on earth are superficial, including genealogies and whatnot. I'm 80% Italian, 20% Jew, whatever it is, I'm not, but just saying as an example, I think the genealogy part isn't as important so much as the sacrifice of those individuals. Some people put a whole lot of worry on race. I don't think race is a problem in this country, but a lot of people tend to think it is. A lot of people tend to worry about their race or their I got a Latino girlfriend, whatever it is. I think it's all kind of superficial. I think we're meant to enjoy life and serve God to the best of our abilities, even if that means that we suffer. And suffering is not a bad thing. Suffering is sanctification. It really is. Anything that gives light must endure burning. Any type of sword, anything of value often has to go through a rigorous process. sword gets heated up, it gets beaten down into its shape. It gets heated up, it's beaten down into its shape. And it gets heating up and then it gets tempered, which means it either goes in a cold oil or cold room temperature, whatever it is, water. And the blade can actually fracture and break in that process because it's incredibly stressful, but it's incredibly important and required to get that thing hard. Sorry, hiccup. In order so that it's strong enough to survive the battles coming up. Whatever it's going to be used for, it could just be a screw that holds the door onto a plane. It could be a sword that someone wielded in battle. It could be you. Ultimately, you gotta suffer in life, but you also gotta enjoy life and appreciate the suffering. Be thankful for that, and don't waste time worrying about wasted time. And don't waste time worrying. I'm 20 years old and I have 4 gray hairs. I don't know if you can kind of see one here. See that? I have gray hairs because all the time I spent stressed out and worrying instead of actually, enjoying life and doing things and doing what's in front of me. Um, Getting, things I wish, opportunities I never got back because I was, wasted time. Time I could have spent going out and meeting the neighborhood kids, and as I spent playing GTA San Andreas. Before my drug addict relative left and probably never see him again. They offered to play Minecraft with me. I mean, stupid things, whatever. Minecraft. I'm not a little kid, but if I could go back in time and enjoy moments with family members, I'd otherwise never have again, I would, play Minecraft with my drug addict relative. I would do whatever. I would tell so and so that I love them, or that maybe tell someone how you really feel. Man, you would be a shitty friend. you know, they would tell a friend how much they meant to you. Things, opportunities you'll never get back. Yeah, there's things I wish I could have undone, unwasted, if you will, when it went back and not wasted those opportunities. But you're wasting opportunities by worrying about wasted opportunities. Perhaps I'm wasting your time by talking in circles by making this video. I know that's not my goal, but these videos are also a bit therapeutic for me because a lot of things I talk about that I try to help you go through, and I hope that I'm helping you, are things that I also struggle with. Because I don't have it all figured out, and I don't always do a good job at trying to figure things out, or trying to make things work, or trying to work through things, or trying to make it through things, whatever. I don't always do a very good job, and these videos are therapy for me, but I hope they're also therapy for you. I hope there's some wisdom. Hopefully you're level 19 and I'm level 20, and you're like, you're heading onto my level. In the boss battles that I've struggled with, I can say, hey, do A, B, C, D, or do this strategy, do whatever to get past it. Hopefully that helps you. If not, maybe I've wasted not my time, but your time. But anyways, sorry I talked in circles a lot, but it's nice to talk, and it's nice to have someone to talk to that listens. So if you've listened, thank you. If you haven't listened, I understand. Hope I didn't waste your time. And if I did, I apologize. But I'll end it here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I helped. Hopefully I offered some wisdom, or at least pretend you listened to a friend or something. I don't know. God bless you, and have a good night.